Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hanging with Howie. We have the usual suspects, and we have Eric, who hasn't been around for a little while.
Because he's got jaundice.
He had a good excuse. He was in the hospital with a few operations on his hip, but
and now his liver's gone.
Yeah.
Depends like if I go like this, then I look normal. Then
we got Bill Marsh in the house from Maryland, Jay from Swing in Temecula, California, and my wingman there, Brian S. Red from Milwaukee. Let's see, Boston. We got John Cawley.
Yeah.
Welcome, gentlemen. And tonight's topic, I know that there's going to be many opinions on this, and that's why I picked it. Has the supply chain issues hurt your business in any way? And I'm going to start off with no, it hasn't really hurt me, because I don't think clients really care whether my lights are 5 years old or I have the brand new ones. That my speakers still work. I have the, music's music. I still get that. At least that's not a supply chain issue with places like Promo Only, who is up there right now, one of our sponsors. So, and also I'm able to repair my own stuff. So that's just my take. Now I know, Eric, you're on both sides of the fence here. So
you want me to start or go last?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll start. Okay.
Yeah. So, while you can still stand or sit.
Sitting is not a problem. Standing is. Broken hip. They won't allow me to stand on my leg. So I look at this from a little bit different perspective. I'm somewhat of a want guy versus a need guy. Now, in my position, I'm a dealer of almost everything that I use, because so New York State, and I'll explain this. New York State's kind of shaped like a triangle, right? You've got New York City, Buffalo, and I'm hidden right up in this little corner, right up in the top. So dealers love me because I fill that void up near the Burlington, Montreal area. So I'm kind of located up here. So I become the dealer of just about everything that I use. Now, again, going back to that whole want thing, there's some things I want right now, more so than need. I want to upgrade my Pioneer controllers. What's happening right now is that they're in limited supply. So myself being a smaller dealer that doesn't put out and sell a lot of the product, they're going to the bigger chains. They're going to the Sam Ashes. They're going to the Guitar Centers. And the people that, push more product out. So I'm kind of down stuck on the bottom with that. On the other hand, I did need some RCF speakers, and it's the same thing. I can't get my hands on them. So when I needed these for a job, what did I do? It didn't hurt my business per se that I didn't get the business. It hurt my pocketbook. I had to go through another dealer. And of course, they have their upcharges on them. They're gracious to work with me being another dealer. But at the same point, they're in the business to make money, and I get that. So that's where it kind of hurt me. It didn't hurt my business per se, but it did hurt my pocketbook. So that's kind of where I'm looking at things right now.
All right, good. Phil, how about you? Are you having a tough time getting CDs?
No, the supply at Goodwill is still strong and heavy. But the one thing I have had a tough time getting, that I've actually tried to acquire numerous times, is the Chauvet Flex stands. And that is something that I needed, but could get around not having. I needed them because I was no longer using tripods for my speakers. And I had sold a couple of packages using my Chauvet Wash FXs for ceiling wash, and needed a way to kind of discreetly get them up in the air. Usually I put them on my speaker stand, on my tripods, under the speakers pointing up. In this case, I had to find another source. So I really wanted the flex stands for that. That's really the only thing that has greatly impacted me, in as much as, I had to find other workarounds, but I didn't lose money in the situation. I didn't, I still haven't spent the money either, because I'm still waiting on them. And by the time I end up getting them, it'll probably be 2.0, but who knows?
Right.
Other than that, just the fact that it has certainly slowed my speed down on. I had a goal in 2018 to have a controller by now, and it was going to be either the Jay, help me, the big boy you have, the RZ or
the XZ.
Yeah, XZ, thank you. Or whatever came next in that line, because Jay touted, all the things that make it very wedding DJ friendly. And it already, to me, was very similar to what I was using and familiar with from, my mixer and CD player standpoint, that I didn't have to rely on a computer. So that's it. But that was a want, not a need.
John, how about you? I've been to your house. You've got enough gear there to start a music store.
That's kind of what was going on when we got back from Las Vegas in 2020. That was February. I was in the process of doing the upgrade of, the newest of everything, whether it was speakers or controllers. So I was a little bit ahead of the curve, and I pretty much had everything I needed before the lockdown and everything stopped, and before the shortages happened, because that's obviously what the topic is for this. But every couple of years, you look for the newest, best, most updated for the technology. But I could always go back one generation of stuff that I'm still sitting on. The biggest fear with the not being able to get things is if something breaks, how do you replace it quickly? And there's no good answer for that still.
Right.
You need to get something, they're just not available. You're either on, Facebook Marketplace, or you're on eBay, or trying to scramble to get something. But luckily, I've kind of dodged the problem on this one, and it's not time to buy new gear probably for another couple of years, and hopefully the supply chains will be back to normal by then.
Man, let's hope so. Yeah. Brian, I know you're frugal like I am, and your stuff just works all the time, every time.
You buy good stuff,
Yeah. Like a Peterbilt.
Yeah. Well, this is Dad's hat. I'm wearing Dad's hat today. It hasn't affected my business at all. I mean, I've got what I need. It works fine. I was good and ready to go when all this hit. The only thing that supply chains has affected on my end, as far as the DJ world goes, is the other business that I have, really, which is the videos. So I do a lot of product stuff, and I've got companies that want to work with me, but they have no inventory. So why would I market something for anybody that they don't have to sell to anybody? Even if I can get the demo gear, it doesn't mean they have anything in inventory. So that's, kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
And hopefully when the inventory builds back up, I'll be able to showcase some cool product. I'm fussy about what I do,
Yeah.
So that has been affected greatly. But
yeah, I thought that it would be. I'm thinking of a thing that we used to say back in the 30s. Yes, we have no bananas today.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you don't have bananas to sell, why count bananas? I mean.
Well, I've been through this before. I went through it with, just quite frankly, I went through it with FBT because, I had the demo product and I was marketing the hell out of it, but they had no inventory to sell, so nobody could buy it. So it was stupid. Right. Why are we telling people about things they can't have? This is dumb.
That's kind of like Instagram right now with RCF. They have all these speakers that they keep promoting. I keep sending them messages like, are they available yet? Available yet? Available yet? I'm like, I know they're trying to just chum the water and keep the interest there, but at the same point, there's some of us out there that we want and we need this stuff.
Well, I saw a really unique opportunity for FBT when they came out with the CS 2000. I thought it was a 1000, whatever the hell it's called, CS 1000. I thought it was a great speaker. I even went to Italy and watched my speakers get built on the line, like step by step.
Yeah, I watched your videos. Great.
Yeah, I was so excited about it. I was and I thought Ben Stowe doesn't have nice things to say about them, but I thought they sounded really nice. And I thought that they were more capable than a lot of the other options out there. So they do this thing, and then, it's like, okay, we've talked about it. We've marketed the hell out of it. Oh, well, we can't get them. Well, why not? Well, Argentina needs them. Well, who gives a shit? How come we can't get them? So it took so long for them to come to the States. By the time they got here and there was inventory, we had Evolve 50s.
Right.
It was over.
Yeah.
Like, there was a window of opportunity where we could have talked about them. We could have got them in people's hands, and we could have done great things with them. But there was no denying that the Evolve 50 was also a fantastic speaker. The price point was better. It was easier to assemble. It won,
Mm-hmm.
So, it's about timing with this stuff. And, why talk about anything if you don't have it? So I went through that with the CS1000. So I know that it's a waste of my time to even talk about any of this stuff.
Gotcha.
These companies actually have it. But no, on the DJ side of things, no. I get what I need.
Well, that brings us to someone who represents a company that does have some product and actually had product in Atlantic City. Jay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fortunate in my position. So to answer the question, quite honestly, no, I didn't feel any effect throughout any of it.
Right.
I have all the gear, and even if the gear that I have now were to go away, I've got older gear that I would be happy to bring out of retirement, and I'd be fine. I think I have now, with everything kind of put together, I think I have 5 full wedding systems that could work independently of each other. And each one of those would have at least, not speakers, but they would at least have backup. Like controllers, I probably have, 3 or 4 controllers for every system as a backup. But it's older stuff that, hasn't been used in a while. And I'm fine with that. I've used a DDJ1 SZ not that long ago because I think either the client asked for it or somebody asked for it. So I took that out. I mean, I don't really care what I use.
That's what I still use. Love them.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's a great piece. The hassle for me has been trying to honestly answer the question, when is this coming in? And, no matter how many times I've said it, and I'll say it to Brian the same way I'll say it to a complete stranger, I don't know. I can tell you this much, and it's my answer to everybody. People are actively purchasing gear. I see photos on Instagram every day. CDJ 3000, DJM 900s, Rev 7s, XZs, you name it. It's there. We had a 1000 SRT at the show. I mean, it's part of show stock, but, are there enough for the demand? No. But is there gear? Yes. And I tell everybody, don't just call one dealer. Call 5 or 6 dealers. And the question to ask is, how long has it been since you had this item? And if of the 5 dealers, one of them says a month and the others say 6 months, place your order with the one that says a month. But also understand, if you place an order, you're at least in line. If you cancel that order and go, well, I'm going to GC, they'll get it first. Yeah, they will. Or someone else will. Or maybe AGI gets it first, or maybe Ben Stowe gets it first. But regardless, you now might be behind 1,000 orders versus at a small dealer, you might be 8th in line.
I think Pioneer's maybe one of the only companies I can think of that doesn't do a lot of drop ship.
No.
In our business.
Right.
So I mean, what that means is, for those of you who are like, what are you talking about? So let's take, I don't know, name a company. Let's take
Electrovoice,
for instance.
Electrovoice drop ships.
A lot of companies drop ship Electrovoice products. Some companies don't. Ben Stowe, I know, has a big inventory of them, but I know ADJ does a lot of drop ship stuff. So there are companies that sell a product, but they don't carry a product. So what happens is when they get an order from it, they place the order with the distributor, be it ADJ or EV or RCF or Chauvet or whoever it is. They send the product to the customer, and then the retailer collects the commission off of this. You can't do it direct, but you can do it through the dealer. That's what most companies do, because most of these companies do not have inventory. So they're reliant on the manufacturer / distributor having this inventory on hand to drop ship. Or Pioneer's a different animal, where they actually sell product that the retailers must inventory on the shelf. You know, a lot of companies aren't like that. So with Pioneer, call around. That's the best way to do it. I built a system in November for Welcome to Rockville. And it was, oh boy, I think I probably used about 4 different retailers to piece the system together.
I remember that.
In like a week. So there was one in Chicago that had a Pioneer DJM 250 Mark II or something like that, and a case. No one else had it. And then there was another company that had a Pro Event table. And then there was another company, Guitar Center had the Electro Voice Evolve 30Ms, but I couldn't do it all in one stop if I wanted it right now.
Right.
I had to get stuff that they actually had it in inventory. So,
I mean, anytime there's, a catastrophe like COVID, the effects are felt much further than people expect. They look around and go, "Hey man, we've been back at work for a year. Why isn't there gear?" Well, the problem is you've got to look at the point of origin. All the gear is manufactured somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first problem.
Yeah.
Second problem is shipping. Third problem is the problem that nobody wants to take responsibility for, which I understand. But that's the fact that shipping, and this I know for a fact, these big shipping crates ship over to us. Then we load them with something and they ship back with something else. Well, that's not the case like it was 2-3 years ago. So those crates are sitting at ports waiting to go back to China, Malaysia, Japan, but there's no demand for them. So now you're paying twice as much to ship because there's no shipping crates at the point of origin.
There's no return,
Right.
Yeah, so you're running into all these different things. The one bit of advice I've given a lot of DJs, and it's funny to me how I don't know if it's an age thing, if it's an experience thing, but I point to the famous, which I learned 40 years ago. Never quit your job until you have another job.
Exactly.
So, that being said, never sell your gear to buy new gear.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have to get a newspaper route. If you're buying the new Rev 7 and it's $1,900, but you have turntables and a mixer, you use those until the Rev 7 shows up. And if you can't afford it right now, then you don't need it right now. And I probably 95% of DJs come up and go, "Man, I sold my gear because I gotta have this." Dude, it's a controller. It runs Serato DJ Pro. What do you gotta have? Well, it's like, so now you're without gear. Or I'll say to guys, "What's your backup?" And I won't name names, but there are pretty big end DJs who are going to gigs with one laptop, one controller. And I'm like, what's the backup plan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question. I have a question for the room. Is don't quit your job until you have another job a famous thing?
Like Henry Ford or somebody.
We said it back in the 30s. I think it was Henry Ford. He was a friend of mine.
Where I got it? I got it from my dad. My dad told me when I was like a teenager looking to quit a job.
But the famous saying is don't quit your day job. That's the famous saying.
No, yeah.
It's the bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. I think it comes kind of.
Dad told me, "Why don't you get a real job?"
I think George Thorogood actually may have said it. But
when are you going to get a real job? Yeah.
I would get guys that would apply to work for me when I was running the yachts. And I'd be like, "Hey, are you working right now?" "Oh, yeah, I work at so-and-so's." "Okay, great. When can you begin work for me?" "I can start Monday." And it would be like Friday. I'm like, "Oh, I thought you were working." "Oh, yeah, I'm just going to go in and quit." "Oh, okay, well, let me get back to you." I never called them back. And a couple of them called me and were like, "Hey, man, I was ready to work. I don't understand what happened." I'm like, "Well, it just didn't seem like a good fit." "Well, it doesn't make any sense." I'm like, "You got big boy pants on?" "Yeah."
Anything about
I'm
it.
like, You come in and tell the future employer you're willing to quit the job you got now. You just told the future employer you're going to be willing someday to quit his job. That's why I
no notice. Yeah,
With
no notice.
whippers.
They were like, and
Yeah.
of the two guys, one slammed the phone, and the other guy, to this day, I give him credit. He was man enough to say, you know what? Thank you so much for pointing that out. I didn't realize that. He goes, I've said it to like 5 different places, and none of them hired me. I'm like, yeah, because you told them you'd quit them too. And he's like, you know what? It's a life.
There's an epiphany.
But it's like, if you got to have something that you already have, wait till you get the next one. And then you casually go, hey guys, I'm giving a 2 weeks notice. Oh, you are? Yeah, I got a job offer from Acme, whatever. Oh, well, we'll double your salary. Okay, great. Then you call Acme and go, hey guys, I'm sorry, I won't be able to start work for you. I'm going to stay where I am. But I can't tell you how many guys have told me they sold it and they cry about it. Dude, can you help me? No. I'm the demo DJ. I'm not the distributor. I'm not the sales guy. I don't have the gear. Well, but I got rid of my gear and now I'm without gear. Well, you're an idiot.
Well, that was dumb.
There, I said it. You're an idiot. That's what we call that in the manufacturing industry. You're an idiot.
Yeah, that's the technical term, right?
The gear you have now, keep it as backup. But I can't afford that. If you can't afford it, then you don't need it. That's the rule. I'm sorry if that hurts people's feelings, but the rule is if you can't afford to buy it today, maybe you don't need it today. Maybe in 6 months you can save up, use the gear you have now as a backup, hire a second DJ, start a multi. I don't care what you do.
There's your life lesson for today.
Stop getting rid of your gear.
I didn't mean to get you all wound up, Jay. I'm sorry.
I know he's getting mad at us. I think he's mad at me.
Scolded over here.
Dude, the number of texts, the number of Facebook hits I get, and I feel bad. I really do. I'm like, I'm so sorry you're out without gear. Like if you lived in my town, I would lend you gear. I've lent DJs gear to get through pandemic. I have no issue with it.
But you're stupid enough not to live in Southern California, so
I think this is going to hold true after tonight again, that Jay will still hold the record for the most letters that we get.
So this guy Jay on your show, Howie, called me an idiot. Because I said
another thing.
What's up with this guy anyways?
Send them. Don't send them to Ben Stowe.
You're only as good as your last gig, kid.
That's true.
That is as good as your last gig.
Don't send them to Ben Stowe. Send them to Ben Dover at DJNTV.com. Ben Dover.
And
Dover like Dover Soul. Dover.
Phil McCracken.
Ben Stowe.
Yeah, Phil McCracken. Hey,
you can
by
send
the
him
way,
to Willie. I can't do that.
If I can ask,
Go there.
I've heard this somewhere. I've heard a story about a hammer. Can you tell me where I can get this magic hammer at?
The $2 hammer.
The
$2? I don't know.
Yeah,
That's all it was. You know that story, don't you?
Yeah, you told it last time.
Don't tell it again.
No.
Is this a long
Yes,
one?
we know the story.
You know the
You need news stories, Jay.
what about Leonardo DiCaprio?
Why don't you go out and have some new stuff happen to you and then come back and report to us?
I will have a story next week involving one of the Corys, maybe. Who knows?
That's right. You will.
That's right.
You will have. There you go. There's
What were they called? They weren't the Brat Pack. What was his group there?
The Corys.
I think it was just the Corys. After Lost Boys, yeah.
Yeah.
Fire.
Mm-hmm.
That all makes sense to everyone. This show's coming up, I think Rosh Hashanah 2024. So after this one airs in Rosh Hashanah, then we'll have the Flag Day show, which is the Corey one I'm talking about.
Before he gets the job that gets him the Oscar nomination that we haven't seen yet.
It's a reality show you're going to, you know.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, we're in a reality show because I think most everyone here, this is our full-time job.
Yeah.
And so this ties in with, we've planned ahead enough that we have backups. And I hope that's a lesson to anybody new watching this.
Have backups on your backups.
Backup. Don't sell your stuff before you have enough money to have backup.
Girl, you look good. Won't you back that thing up?
Yeah.
Thank
Use
you,
a big
Juvenile.
triangle and won't you back that thing up?
Yeah. So, with that being said, does anyone have anything else to add to this at all, or
No.
No.
Jay, can you give me a couple RX3s?
Yeah.
On their way. We had, like Howie said, you weren't there, sadly, because it was in the state next to where you live. So much like that other production company in Rhode Island, they couldn't drive their gear because they don't care about DJs, apparently.
I was
Right.
broken. I
I'm
couldn't
going to
go.
get letters on that one.
You're
No,
gonna
but
get
I'm
letters.
saying, like, believe it or not, we had a bunch of RX3s at the show. He did. He had good stock. He had 1,000 SRTs. But, and this is another thing I'll tell people, go to the shows.
Yeah.
Support the shows. When a dealer is going to do a DJ show, the manufacturer that brings them in is going to do their best to make it worth their while.
For
How
sure.
how do you do that? You send them the hot gear.
Yeah.
That's not an unfair advantage. That's the reality of business.
Right.
So when you look at last year, we had 20 of the DDJ 1000 off-white Virgil Ablohs. They were selling for $17.99 the day they were released and sold out.
Yep.
And 4 months later, at the DJX, they were selling for $17.99. Everyone bought them, and within minutes, eBay had them for $3,500. And then, sadly, Virgil Abloh
Imagine
passed
that.
away in October, and the price almost doubled.
Yeah.
And apparently, they all sold because people that are fans of his bought them for $4, $5, $6 to put on the wall because they were considered a piece of art.
Jesus.
And
Yeah.
the only where in the world you could have bought them last August, from actually May to August, the only real legal purchase would have been at the DJ Expo. So,
Right.
lesson learned: go to the shows.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
You know?
good deals at the shows, as a matter of fact. I mean, that, you know what? The one picture that really touched my heart, Jay, you can help us. What was the name of that unit where that little kid got the last one of those?
You got the Rev 7.
Was that DJ Drew?
That smile on his
Is that his
face
name?
Was
That
he the autistic boy?
That's
Yes.
him.
Yeah,
DJ
yeah.
Drew. I got
Yeah.
a great story about him. Great little kid, and his dad always
His
accompanies
dad and
him.
mom are always with him,
Yes.
and he comes in our booth day one with the headphones on,
Yes.
and he hits the ground running. And we featured him last year in a bunch of photos on Facebook and Instagram. And he's like our little friend kind of thing, where he like
Yeah.
shoots in. We all know him. It's totally cool. And his dad came up to me the last day with the Rev 7. He goes, "Hey, DJ J, can you do me a favor? I just bought this for my son. Can you hide it? I want to give it to him in the booth." And the sad thing, I almost started to cry. I'll be dead honest.
Yeah.
He thought, because he goes, "What's DJ J getting for you?" You know, and I come out with it and put it down. And he's like, "DJ J gave me it." And I'm like, no. Dad did. I felt terrible because I'm like, no. I'm not taking credit for shit.
Maybe, you're like Santa Claus to him.
But that's what I mean. Like,
Right,
I didn't
right.
want him to look at me as the great, because his dad's the one.
Maybe he did. Maybe the dad wanted to do the Santa thing.
I don't know.
When
But,
if you guys
I mean, he was
Now you're gonna
thrilled.
lose sleep over that.
the,
Sleep.
JJ Claus,
Let me take some sleep vitamins.
Santa
Um,
J.
That's amazing. That
Yeah, that kid's
that
awesome.
picture touched my heart. I actually
Yeah.
saved it, just to have it,
Yeah, no, that kid's a sweetheart.
Yep. That little guy got me my job with ADJ, and that's a story for another day.
Oh wow,
Yep.
you're gonna have to tell us that at some point.
Yep.
Oh,
Once the
yeah.
liver thing clears up.
maybe the
I
next
can't be-
maybe the next show. All right, hey guys, thanks a lot for being here. And as always, audience, when this goes up after Easter or
Rosh
Rosh
Hashanah.
Hashanah, Hanukkah, whatever,
Yom
leave
Kippur.
comments below. And as a matter of fact, this was one of the questions that I got from YouTube that someone asked. So
Awesome.
we got a show out of it. If you have something you'd like us to talk about, leave it in the comments and we'll be happy to oblige. So
Yeah.
thank you all and good night.